about to begin Sefer Misilat Yesharim, written by Ramchal. The Sefer is a Sefer of Avodat Hashem that teaches us the way to grow in our service of Hashem and how to correct and work on our midot, our character traits. Amar Mechaber, the author says, "Ha'chibur hazeh lo חיברתיו ללמד לבני האדם את אשר לא ידעו." Says, I did not make this work to teach a person that which he does not know. אלא להזכירם את הידוע להם כבר ומפורסם אצלם בפרסום גדול. Rather, it's to remind them of that which is known to them already, and it's open to them. Not only that, it's very obvious to them, it's very open to them. Ki lo timsa berov devarai, you will not find most of my words. Ela devarim sherov bnei ha'adam yud'im otam, only things that most people know. Velo mistapkin bahem kelal, and they're not doubtful in these things at all. Ela shekefi rov pirtsumam keneged ma she'amitam gilulad hakol, since they are so open and everybody knows them, כך ההלם מהם מצוי מאוד והשכחה רבה. So too, they're hidden and they are easily forgotten. So that sounds like a bit of a contradiction, but we'll see that there's things in life that a person feels that they don't need the proper attention in certain subjects because they're so obvious. But a person doesn't realize, although they're obvious, that if they're not studied properly, even though we have a general awareness, we'll realize that the concept is not fully internalized unless it's studied properly. And therefore, like the concept of knowing God exists and fearing God and loving God, all these subjects need work. I ask anybody, do you love God? Sure, I love God. But you'll see in reality that person's lacking in that area. If you see by his actions, if he's not ready to do whatever it is that God wants from him, then his love is very limited. He loves him, but he loves himself more. And he loves other things, his worldly desires, as we're going to see. However, so what he's saying over here is, although the concept is well known, however, at the same time, it's not internalized properly, and it's forgotten, overlooked. Al ken en hato'elet hanilkat mizeh hasefer yotze min hakriya bo pam achat. So, again, if a person peruses through this sefer, this book, and he does it once, and it was a good read, he's not going to get the full effects. This is something that's a constant reminder and needs to be constantly reviewed. That's the way, that's the design of this sefer. כי כבר אפשר שלא ימצא הקורא בשכלו חידושים אחר קריאתו. It's very possible that a person will not find any novel ideas in his intellect after he reads this. שלא היו בו לפני קריאתו, that he did not know before he read it. אלא מעט, maybe he might find something. And of course, this is the author in his great humility, because the Sefer has chidushim and unbelievable insights. However, right now he doesn't want to aggrandize his work, but he's saying even if kulanu hachamim, kulanu nevorim, we all are great wise men and we're all understanding people. However, he's saying still there's going to be a benefit out of this. אבל התועלת יוצא מן החזרה עליו וההתמדה. The benefit a person will get from here is from review and from consistency. Having a constant order, seder, of studying it on a daily basis, and if a person constantly is reviewing this over and over again, that's when he'll get a benefit. Ki yizacheru lo hadevarim ha'ele hanishkachim ibnei adam b'teva. He's saying because it will remind him of these concepts that are forgotten from a person out of his nature, v'yasim et libo, and he will bring them to his heart. Chovato asher hu metalem mimena, his obligation which becomes hidden from him. So you see over here the Ramchal is saying that part of our nature is to forget these things. The Yetzer Hara constantly causes us to lose focus when we go in the world, as we're going to see. And his main weapon is even when a person realizes something and a person comes to a certain understanding, he will cause him to lose that initial understanding, and it'll become cooled off and less, until eventually it has no effect on him. That's why an advice sometimes is when a person learns something or is familiar with an idea, if he could put it into an action and institute it in his daily life, then it'll come down to this world, in the world of action, and it'll be instituted. If a person takes the concept and doesn't act upon it, and just, that's a nice idea, he may be inspired for a short time by that idea, but if it's not put into some sort of action, or, like he said, to review the concept over and over again, it goes lost. And that's a person's teva, his nature. That's the way we are, because we have in us Yetzer Hara, and our body is has ingrained in it tum'ah, since the Chet of Adam Rishon, and part of that tum'ah is forgetfulness. Forgetfulness is, unfortunately, one of the fallouts of the sin of Adam Rishon. And the only way a person can combat that is by constant review and also putting these ideas and concepts into action. If a person hears, let's say, a good reprimanding about how a person has to wake up every day on time and set up times to study, and he hears it and this and that, it's eventually going to fade away. But if a person does an action, he calls up a friend and says, okay, let's learn every day at 6:30 in the morning, and now he has a responsibility to be there at 6:30 in the morning every day. And not only that, he starts to pray in a certain place, and every day he's, the people that will there, and they greet him, and they see him, and he becomes sort of responsible to be there in a certain sense. So that when he heard that idea, he did something, and that already put him in a framework, and that framework will help him carry it out. But if a person just hears the concepts and he doesn't do anything with it, and he doesn't review it either, it usually just fades away and has no effect. Okay, let's go further. ותראה, אם תתבונן בהווה ברוב העולם, if a person thinks into what most of the world is doing, כי רוב אנשי השכל המהיר, הפיקחים, החריפים, most wise people, intellectual people, who are quick to grasp, they're sharp, ישימו רוב התבוננם בהסתכלותם בדקות החוכמות ועומק העיונים. They go and they concentrate on very fine subjects and deep concepts. איש איש כפי נטיית שכלו, חשכו הטבעי. Each person according to his intellect and his desire, his persona. כי יש שיתרחו מאוד במחקר הבריאה והטבע. There are people who enjoy sciences,